Welcome back, NPTEL students, for week 5. This is course on online privacy. I hope you're enjoying the class. I hope you're enjoying the content that we are generating. I hope you're also making connections to the external world, other than just the content that you're seeing as part of the class. And it's good to see some action on the mailing list. But as I always say, I think it'll be nice to see more people join the discussion on mailing list, ask questions, answer questions, ask clarifications, find something somewhere else, post it here. Let's have a discussion around a topic, or a news article, or a hack that happened, or a data breach that happened, all of that, right? Or your experience of doing something and you saw that privacy is questioned there, right? All of that would be very, very nice to speak in the mailing list. What we'll cover actually as part of the week 5 content is the cookies and ethics about studying online privacy, right? Cookies are an important component of, so to say, tracking users and how companies are getting to know about our behavior, using that for advertisements, all of that. So we look at what is cookies, how to set cookies, how to retrieve information from cookies, where do cookies store in our browser, and how to actually delete the cookies. What are the pieces of information that cookie actually keeps, how probably those can be used for tracking us and all of that. And the second part of week 5 we'll do is about this very important and critical, actually, as now is about the question of ethics, right? Ethics about studying online privacy. Meaning, where do you draw the line? Meaning, you want to collect as much as information as possible, or company wants to collect as much information as possible. That's one side. But if you're doing research, if you're collecting data from users, where do you draw the line? How do you set up the study? What study should you set up? What data you can collect? What is IRB, Institutional Review Board, or Ethics Committee? Right? What approvals do you need, and why do you need this approval? What are the problems that has happened in the past which has made this approval necessary? All of that we'll actually look at as part of week 5. Week 5 seems to be pretty exciting. Let's see how it goes. What we saw in week 4, we saw identity resolution and privacy nudges. I hope you tried out some experiments with your own data in terms of your own accounts. I hope you also tried out started looking at the nudges that you're seeing on your online behavior and connecting it to something that we saw in the class. I asked you to do an activity as part of week 4. Look at regrettable disclosures information that we have, and instances of regrettable disclosures that we have seen or others in the news that has come, and actually the nudge ideas also, which is what are the better ways to create these nudges? How all would you create if the nudges, if you were the one who's designing these nudges? Okay. Now let's take a look at cookies. Let's get into the topic of cookies. How are online privacy different from offline privacy concerns, right? If you just think about it, the question of offline privacy is mostly about physical, right? You're a physical being, your surrounding information that are people around you looking at you, the dress that you wear, all that is probably the offline world. And the discussions that we have talked about also, right? The conversation in the train that you're having, somebody is actually asking you about your salary, somebody is hearing the conversation that you're having in your neighbors in the train, person sitting next to you is actually hearing the conversation that's going on. All of that is probably the physical concerns. The online concerns are the online behavior, social media, websites, all of that. What are the differences if you think about it, right? The one of the critical differences is that information, the behavior that you have in the online world can be kept, stored, looked at again, and decision could be made. Offline world, you had the conversation with somebody on the train, meaning I think the chances of that information being get recorded and somebody going and looking at it later, it's all very minimal, right? So that's the most important critical difference between the online privacy and the offline privacy, which is the information that is information data about us that is getting collected, is stored, analyzed, processed. Inferences are drawn from that, and that's actually used for making decisions. Right? Keep that in mind. That's one of the thing that we'll keep looking at in week 5 and in future also. What are cookies? Cookies are definitely not the ones that you eat. These cookies are about the online cookies. What are people concerned about cookies, right? So what I would like to see as your responses. Pause the video now. Send a response in the mailing list, which is what are cookies? What are what are you concerned about cookies? What is the concern about cookies? What purpose does cookies really have? Right? Why did they come up with this idea called cookies, and why cookies have become so prevalent, right? If you think about the websites that you're accessing now, even the last week or so, the online websites that you would have accessed, it would have actually asked you for settings, saying allow cookies, reset cookies, change the settings for the cookies, all of that. Because these are all because of many new regulations and requirements on these companies. Everybody is making sure that the user's consent is taken in terms of cookies. I'm sure if you're looking at any of the European websites, because of GDPR, this has become a mandatory where they actually get access to your they get consent from you about the cookies that they are setting on your machine. Similarly in the US also. So parse, send a response on the mailing list. Let's see what you have. I'm asking you to do all this. I hope you're actually doing it as I ask, because the answers are in the next slide. If you just go forward in the video and then answer it, look at it and then send it, it's of no meaning, right? I think the idea is to make you think, and the idea is to make you think before I give you the answers, right? Cookies can be actually extremely useful in many different ways, right? So I think I have cookies. I mean, I'll show you some of the cookies that I have. It's in my machine that I can actually show you later how these cookies are extremely useful in terms of our own user behavior. Cookies, meaning generally the idea is like the staple that you attach, meaning you take multiple forms that you're filling, multiple documents that you've printed out, put them all together, staple it. That's a very real world offline definition of what a cookie could be. And why that is interesting, or why that's because of user preferences, right? Your user preferences are like that, right? All the web pages that you have gone, if I just have to staple it together and say that, oh, this is PK's online behavior, that's a cookie. That's capturing my user behavior. Used to identify you when you return to a website. This is also very, very important purpose of a cookie, which is that I go to a website multiple times. Let's take Amazon.com. I don't want to be actually giving my username, password, giving my preferences, all of that again and again. The searches that I've done, right? It just helps my user behavior, that's all. Right? So user behavior is one, and the other one is also authentication. I mean, I think if it keeps I'm sure many of you have set your Google login, the browser saves your username and password, and it's actually giving you quick access to your emails, right? So that's authentication. Used to help websites understand how people use them, which is the Amazon search results that I said, recommendations that it has provided. All of that information can be actually captured in a cookie, and that information can be used to help provide recommendation for us, which is more like user tracking or personalization. So therefore, the usefulness of cookies are user preferences, authentication, and personalization, of course, in terms tracking. Cookies can do unexpected things, which is that they can be used to track, which is an advantage here, listed here. It can actually become a disadvantage also. Right, so that they know which books have you searched on Amazon. They can use it, and then they can probably give that information to a third party, or three different services. Search recommendations are put together, and a third party company can actually profile you and present a promoted ad, which is very relevant to the book that you searched recently. Right. So that's the sort of say negative aspect of cookie. Cookies are only data, which is that it only stores the search terms that you've used, the recommendations that were provided to you. All of these that are provided that your user behavior is getting tracked into the stored in a cookie. All cookies have an expiration date, so I'll actually show you later what the expiration date is, how to set it, all that. I hope that helps you to get a sense of what a cookie is. So here is how you set a cookie. So which is, so and again, cookie setting and all of this can be done in many different ways. I'm showing you JavaScript. I'm assuming that some of you know already JavaScript. If not, the thing that you need to know about cookie is very limited. So I'll just show you only that. You can also do this in PHP and other programming languages also. Setting the cookies, which is document.cookie in JavaScript. Set cookie would be by the server to a browser on new websites. If the website is already, for example, I go to amazon.com and I access amazon.com tomorrow, the cookie would not be set cookie, it will be actually $cookie, which is to say that, look, I already, this browser has already seen amazon.com, and therefore I don't have to set the cookie. I'm just going to only use the cookie that is already there, which is a $cookie. Okay, so that's a new website. That's a coming back website. So let me show you some examples of how cookie settings are in our browser. So this is from my Brave settings. I'll show you also Chrome. I'm assuming most of you are using Chrome, but if you're using Brave, this is how it will look. So this is a Brave preferences, Brave settings, and privacy and security. Right. So it talks about allow. So what are the settings that we have? What are the things that we can actually control in terms of cookies, right? You can do allow all cookies. You can do block third-party cookies, which is what I have set up, which states that site can use cookies to improve your browsing experiences, for example, to keep you signed in or to remember it in terms of your shopping basket, which is what I actually showed you in the slide. Sites can't use your cookies to use your browsing activity across different sites, for example, to personalize ads, features on subsites may break, right? So that helps to, that's the blocking third-party cookies, which is the cookies that are set by third parties for tracking across the domains is what is actually blocked. So the other option that we have is block all cookies, which is just I don't need cookies at all. Every time I will do actually all the username, password myself, recommendations, everything. I will search every time that I need. Clear cookies and site data when you close all windows, which is, this is also another interesting feature that you can use is every time you close the window, the cookies for that particular domain, that particular sessions are actually deleted. Send a do not track request with your browsing traffic. So this is also an information which you can actually set up, where every request that you're making, there's a do not track request that goes up, and that actually is used to make some choices. So I'll actually show you this option more detail, see all cookies and site data in a second. Customize, yeah, so you can actually see, right? So you can control what cookies are doing. You can't control the cookies that are coming in. You can control actually what meaning to allow a third-party cookie or not. You can control whether their third-party cookies are tracking, and then those things you can actually control. Okay, I hope that helps. I'm assuming that you can parallelly you can go look at your own browser now and see how the settings in your browser are. So this is about clear browsing data, which is so again the settings are, so this would be the same, right? So from the cookies you can actually delete, right? Clear. So this option, if you click, you will reach here. I wanted to show what are the options in terms of getting rid of all these cookies. So basic, advanced, on exit are the three options that are available. Again, it talks about browsing history. You have an option cookies and other sites, and cached images and files. Right, so this you can actually get rid of, which is saying that look, the data that in the last, so if you click on this drop down also, you'll get last hour, I think last 24 hours, last week, or 3-4 options are there, which you can actually delete the data for. Advanced, if you do the same, so from this is the basic one that's shown. If you do advanced, you'll come to this screen, which again shows you more detail, meaning this advanced is nothing but just having the same information, but it's actually more giving you detail, saying, oh, there are 22 sites that you're actually deleting. Cached images is same as this 48 MB that it's showing you here, and other details also here. You can actually uncheck some of this and then do the clear data. On exit again, so this is something that I have not set up, so I'm sure if you are more sort of say privacy aware and want to be more critical about the information that you're sharing with these companies, I'm sure you can do this on exit thing. Same options on exit, meaning getting out of the tab, getting out of the browser, all of your cookies are gone. So that's how you can actually clear the browsing data, which is basic, advanced, and on exit. So this is on Brave. If you just do the same thing on Chrome, meaning when I was looking at it, it almost looks the same. So same options: allow cookies, block allow cookies, block third parties. And allow cookies, block third parties, block all cookies, right? So the settings look very, very similar, both on Chrome and in Brave. So this is again Chrome, very much very similar. So you can see my particularly my behavior. If you see, I'm not a very Chrome user, so it says 9.3, whereas in Brave it was, I think, about 40 MB. Right, so same options: browsing history, download history, all of that. So very, very similar. I'm sure if you do it for Firefox, Safari, all of the browsers must be very similar. Please do it on the browser that you use, and if there's anything that you want clarifications on, if anything that is looking different from what I've shown you here, please bring it up. We can actually talk about it. So next, what I wanted to show you is a cookie itself, right? So we're talking about cookies. So now we know what is cookies and why it is necessary and what it can do. Now let's look at in your own browser. You can go look at all the cookies that are in a browser. I'm going to show you what cookies are in my machine. So I did this just a few minutes before when I was preparing for this lecture. So if you look at the cookies that are in my machine, some of them, there are many of them in my browser, but this one is about Office, Google. I think this is also Google Hangouts and Microsoft. All right. So these are the cookies, some cookies. I'm just going to go into one of the, I'm going to go into just this Google cookie. It's a google.com cookie is what I'm going to show you. Cookies, right? So what the idea is, what I'm trying to do is here it says 20. So if you look at it, that 20 is what is listed here. All right. All the 20 cookies are listed here. We'll get into one of them, SID, and please go do this yourself. So for you to get a sense of what cookies are, again, by doing this, you'll learn how it is in your own machine at the end of the day. So here it is actually showing you some details about the cookie IP underscore JAR name. So this is basically an advertisement cookie that is set by Google. So that's the ads path. You will also see this path later in the code that we'll write to actually set the cookie in a few seconds. Right. So, and then it has this created date and expiry date, which is also, you remember I said, one of the things that happens in the cookies is all cookies have some expiration date. The cookies get created now, and the cookie, the server which is setting the cookies can decide when it has to expire. Otherwise, you can actually do it because through the settings that I said on exit, or delete it physically yourself. So that's how, so even though this is a user interface that I'm showing, all of this could be done in a program. I'm going to show you how you can do all of this in JavaScript right now. Right, so that's the how to set a cookie using JavaScript. Right. You remember I already said you document.cookie, which is cookie string. So essentially there are three parts of this. First is setting the cookie itself, which is to have set the cookie. Earlier I showed you set cookie, document.cookie, all of that. Cookie string has 3 semicolons. So essentially you will have 1, 2, 3 parts. Next slide, I will show you an example with just the code. What are the things that you can set, right? The first you're saying is that what is the name of the cookie? So I have set it up here as the name of the cookie to be last book seen, right? Last book seen is the cookie that the server is going to actually put it in your machine. And what is the expiration date? Expiration date, I've set it up as Friday, 22nd, October 2021 at 12 UTC. UTC is just the time zone you can set. Commonly used time zone is UTC, so I've just put UTC there. Right. They're not static. Cookies are not static. You can, of course, change these expiration dates. Creates a session cookie which will expire when users closes the browser or clears cookies. Again, a session cookie is created. What is a session? Session is basically an interaction between the server and the client. And that session cookie, which is for the cookies that are set, a session is created, and the session cookie expires in the time that is set in the cookie, which is the expiration date. Path where cookie belongs. So this is the path. If you look at, so all the cookies that I went and showed you from Chrome, those are the cookies from my browser. Those are the cookies that are set in the browser itself. So if you're a Mac user, you should be able to go to application support, Chrome or Brave, and then cookies. You should be able to see all of that. So that's where I picked up all of these cookies. cookie name last book seen already exists will be overwritten. So if at all of this last book seen cookie is already there, it will actually be overwritten. So that's how you set a cookie using JavaScript, right? So essentially, you have to name the cookie, you have to set the cookie, and you have to put with the name, give the expiration date and where the cookie has to be stored. If you do that, a cookie would be set. Cookie is generally set by a server on your client, on the browser. Okay. Here is an example of a cookie. Last book seen, permanent record. That's the book that I'm reading right now. So expires February 22nd, Friday, October 22nd, 2021 on 12 UTC, and path where it should be set. That's how it's done in JavaScript. Okay. So what do you do when you want to retrieve a cookie, right? So for example, I'm using my Brave browser. Amazon has already set cookie on my machine. I'm going to Amazon.com again. Amazon needs to look at the cookie that I already have in my browser, right? Because that's what will help them to know who I am, what have I searched in the past, and can they actually use that to make any choices after that. So let cookies is equal to document cookie. That's how retrieving can be done. So this particular command will return all name value pairs in the previous slide. Essentially, if you do let cookies is equal to document.cookie, so it will pick up all the three things that we said in the last slide, which is the cookie name, last book seen, permanent record, expiration date, and the path. And so once you have this, that's what you will get when you so Amazon. So this is PK. That's Amazon. Amazon sent the request. Amazon has already put the cookie in the first session. Let's take this as session number 1. Session number 2, PK. Amazon PK sending the cookie details to Amazon. Amazon is looking at it. Oh, he's already, the last book that he has seen is permanent record. Now let's actually present to him 1984 book as a recommendation. These are all privacy related books. I'm sure you may be interested in some of these books also, right? So that's what cookie helps for. So now that I can parse this cookie and make a choice quickly about what books to recommend to PK now. So that's about cookies, which is to what did we see in cookies? We saw what is a cookie, goods and bads of cookies, how to set a cookie, how to retrieve a cookie, and what processing can be done and what choices can be made because of cookies there. Again, please feel free to look at cookies more, look at these slides, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the mailing list. I'll be happy to take it. And as I promised earlier, all these slides, I'm also making the annotation slides. I'm also making it on the website, so feel free to take it from there also. So here is another one. This is also an interesting one. This website was not working, but I still put it here just for you to show that how these things work. So this is another way that tracking can be done. Cookies is one, right? Cookies is a server putting some information, and then server is actually looking at it. What information is there? But web bugs has been an interesting way to actually also track users. It's a simple 1x1 pixel, a transparent image, which is when we go to a website, that website can actually have this. For example, if you go to tripleit.ac.in, let's take that home page has this 1x1 pixel. That 1x1 pixel, what is it happening? For the web page to be served on my browser, that 1x1 pixel has to be actually requested, right? So in that request, tripleit.ac.in is tracking that, look, that image was requested by PK, and therefore PK is actually looking at this website. Okay. What is interesting is that now a third party can actually put that, right? So if you assume that IIIT.ac.in is put that image on my browser, that's okay, because IIIT otherwise also is serving me the web page. But if let's take, if IIIT works with a third party and who can actually give sense of others who are actually accessing IIIT.ac.in, people who from other domains are in other places, people are actually looking at IIIT.ac.in, not just the domain information about IIIT. Wherever it is presented, if this 1 by 1 pixel is put in the web page, the third party can actually look at PK looking at IIIT.ac.in is there. PK also looked at, let's take a website, educationreview.com or something. In that, there's a IIIT's review, and that page also had the same 1 by 1 pixel of IIIT. Now it's clear that PK is the one who's requesting these 2 pixels from the same browsers, from the same IP. So you can actually say that PK is the one who saw this review, and PK is the one who's also looking at IIIT.ac.in. So that's what a webbug does. Just to again to summarize, it's helping you, helping a third party, helping an organization to track users. Very similar to cookies, but it's just, this is just a 1 by 1 pixel. Also called as web beacons, clear GIFs, work just like banner ads from ad networks. Ad networks, I placed it here is because of the third party example that I gave you. And the bugnosis.org is used to be a website which helps you to see if your website, the website that you're accessing, actually has a bug in it. Whenever you go to a website or input the website that you wanted to see whether there's a bug, it'll actually show you this bug on all the places that they have placed the 1 by 1 pixel, just to help you to see which websites have these bugs. Simple technique, but very, very efficient way of actually tracking users across. 1 pixel, third party pixel kept, and that pixel is placed in different websites, web pages, and whenever somebody is making a request for that, let's take a unique pixel that is kept for IIIT.ac.in, you can actually track all these users, profile all these users. Okay, so what I wanted to do now, what I wanted you to do now is to actually look at your cookies in your machine. I showed you how to go look at it in your browser. Take a look at the cookies, right? Go through all the cookies details. So for example, the like the one that I showed you, Google, 20 cookies, expiration date, when it was created, all of that. What I would like you to share in the mailing list is total number of cookies on your laptop or a machine, right? Total number of cookies. So if you just saw a few of mine, probably they're like 27, 28. I would like to know how many cookies are in your browser. And any interesting cookie names, value pair that you find. Right, value pair again. So you're looking at the name of the cookie, the expiration date, and the path that is kept. Look at the name value pair and see whether there's like the last book seen. Are you finding anything interesting? Okay. I will wait for seeing your response on the mailing list.